and what types of insurance coverage people have and that type of topic. And I have very, very good insurance that covers just about everything that I could ever need to have done under the sun for fertility treatments, but it did not come easily, and I did a lot of research and a lot of work, and it comes with spending a lot of money, and I wanted to kind of explain my research, my background, and how I got myself this coverage, insurance coverage. I am a federal government employee, and so we have many types of insurance, health insurance available to us. There are 3 insurance companies that do cover advanced reproductive technologies, but only 50% of advanced reproductive technology bills. So that would be IUI, IVF. 50% of those would be covered under 3 different insurance plan options that you could get with the federal government. And then there are other insurance plans that cover basically like a lot of monitoring for infertility treatments and testing and diagnosis for infertility treatments. Going back to those 3 insurance companies that cover 50% of ART or advanced reproductive technology, ART, that cover 50% of that, there are conditions to that, such as you must have been trying to conceive for 2 years with no success of lesser forms of treatment in order to move on to something like IVF before they will authorize that for you. Or I think there needs to be some sperm problems with your partner, or you need to have 1 or 2 blocked fallopian tubes, or some kind of a surgical procedure having to do with your fallopian tubes. I don't remember the language, but I think it's basically those 3 things. One of those 3 things is a problem that you have to have. So those are the federal and health insurance options that we have as a federal employee. My husband actually has a really good insurance plan through United Healthcare that covers 100% of advanced reproductive technology treatments, even frozen embryo, even the freezing, ICSI, assisted hatching, anything like that is completely covered 100%. But there is a $25,000 lifetime cap. Lifetime cap. So if I were only going to use his insurance, basically I would hit that with an IUI and an IVF, and that's it. Done. So what I did was I did a little bit of research on having a primary and secondary health insurance, and what I decided to do, since his has a lifetime maximum and a lifetime cap, but will cover 100% of treatments for advanced reproductive technologies, I decided to choose one of the federal insurance companies as my primary that will cover a portion of everything, and his as a secondary that will cover whatever the primary does not cover. And I won't be draining that $25,000 lifetime maximum as quickly because my primary insurance will be covering a significant amount of the costs. Now, the primary insurance carrier that I chose with one of my federal plans was not one of the insurances that cover up to 50% of infertility costs. That is because I found that if I chose one of the other insurance companies that covered monitoring, lab work, and diagnostics, that actually covers more than covering 50% of infertility costs. That is because most of the costs that are associated with the treatments that I have had so far, which is time to intercourse with Clomid and injectable cycles with IUI, most of those costs come from all of the monitoring and all of the blood work and all of the lab work. And the insurance that I chose covers monitoring and lab work, blood work, diagnostic tests. The only thing that it does not cover is the actual IUI procedure itself and the sperm wash and my medication. And for IVF, it's not going to cover retrieval, it's not going to cover transfer, it's not going to cover the medications. But when I add all of that up, it is way better to have monitoring covered than to choose an insurance provider that only covers 50% of my expenses. And then I have my husband's as a backup. The reason why I don't have my husband's as a primary is because it pays for everything associated with infertility. Everything. So because it has a $25,000 cap, I would use that up right away if that were my primary. So that is my secondary. So it's going to cover everything that the primary won't cover. Now, having a secondary insurance is expensive. It costs me about $112 a month to pay for both of my primary and my secondary insurance. It has been well worth it. It has been awesome. I don't have to pay for anything, barely at all. I pay $20 copays every time I go in for monitoring, and $35 copays for my medication, injectable medication, everything that I need. It's been absolutely amazing, and I feel really blessed to have these options available to me. And I did my due diligence in going through the research process and actually researching what was going to be most affordable for me in the long run. That being said, I kind of have this feeling, and I had this feeling all along, that I was eventually going to end up doing in vitro fertilization one day. And I feel a lot of comfort in knowing that that is going to be covered. And I know that a lot of women don't have that option, and I feel very blessed and very lucky. And so because I have the ability to have IVF covered 100% with copays, and that's it, I kind of feel this urgency to jump to IVF now, since it is covered for me, whereas if it were not covered, I wouldn't feel like, okay, I'm ready to move on to IVF, if that makes any sense. I am 37 years old. I have PCOS, possible endometriosis. I had blood clots removed from my fallopian tubes. One of my tubes is completely blocked. I have a fibroid on my uterus, and when they removed my blood clots, when they did my hysteroscopy, they found scarring inside of my uterus. So I am 37 years old, of advanced maternal age, and I have significant problems. We've tried to do Clomid with timed intercourse, and we've done one injectable cycle with IUI, except my ovaries are very diligent in alternating sides each month as to which one ovulates. And this month was my open side, and next month is going to be my closed side. And I'm just kind of tired of going through those months of trying to conceive on the side that I know is blocked. And to me, it seems kind of ridiculous when I have this tool of IVF sitting there that could work so much better for me. So I don't know. I guess I just wanted to share that I really feel like I want to go in and tell my doctor that I am ready to do IVF because I'm older and I have all these problems and my insurance will cover it. And I know that I feel in my heart that it's actually the best option available to me because of my significant problems. Now, I talked to my husband about this, and he does want to try to do IUI with injectables at least 2 more months before we move on to IVF. My doctor recommended that same thing to me, and I think that since my husband wants that and my doctor recommended that's what I'm going to do. I feel comfortable with doing that. But that being said, I really have a feeling like IUI is not going to work for me. I don't think it worked this cycle, and I'm feeling pretty down about it because I was excited at the beginning of the cycle. And I actually never thought that I would say this, but I really want to do IVF. I really do. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today, a little bit about my insurance coverage and kind of bringing up the issue that having the insurance coverage for IVF just kind of makes you want to do it. And that's the bottom line with me. I wonder if others feel this way. Please feel free to share, your views about this, or respond to me, or post a video response or whatever you want. But